So in today's episode, I climbed through mid-plat pretty easily, but there wasn't anything really educational about the gameplay, so we'll get to that later. But for now, this part is for people who struggle to find settings for themselves, and then also for people who struggle with being consistent with Widow. If you're one of those two, then please just listen to everything that I have to say before copying and pasting my settings. I promise it'll help you improve so much more if you actually learn how to adjust settings for yourselves instead of just copying mine. So first of all, it's okay for you to copy someone else's settings to see if they work for you. For me personally, I copied another YouTuber's settings when I first started learning Widow, and they worked for me pretty well. These are the settings that I tried. The thing is, I was always just average at best using these settings, no matter how much I played her, and I couldn't figure out why for the longest time. Then when I started looking at VODs, I realized that my playstyle was super aggressive, but the settings I had weren't fast enough for me. That's because in close ranges you need to be able to flick consistently, and the settings was just too slow for that. So I decided to adjust my settings by dropping my aim smoothing and increasing my scope to 100. But since I was speeding things up, I had to adjust my aim assist to match it. At this point I was swapping between 40 and 60 aim assist window. Here's how I knew when to switch the window. If my flicks felt like they were going too far, I would increase my window so that aim assist would slow me down more and I could hit the flicks. But if my flicks were stopping too early, then I would reduce my window so that there would be less aim assist and I can make it to their head. That's basically it. I did drop my normal sends to 50-40, but that was because that was my tracer tracking send. Those settings worked perfectly for me and my playstyle for a really long time until Widow's big nerf. That was when shots took longer to charge, so I couldn't be as aggressive as I used to be. Instead of making a drastic change, I just upped my aim smoothing from 90 to 98 and reduced my aim assist window to 25. Since my sense was a lot slower, I didn't need a large window. My playstyle also changed from aggressive flicks to basically tracking into mini flick. And that's what leads me into how to be more consistent with Widow. Since I took such a long time talking about settings, I'll try to make this quick. Basically, if you have a game where you do really well as Widow, save that replay. That way, when you have a game where you're missing everything, you can compare the two replays to see what you were doing different. For me, I noticed that in games I did bad in, I was trying to flick way too much and not track as much as I did in games that I popped off in. Seeing that for myself helped me become so much more consistent since I was so much more aware of what to do to hit shots. That's basically it. Adjust your settings to your own playstyle and use your own VODs to help you find them and be more consistent with them. If you want to see and learn from more console Widowmaker gameplay, please check out the first 3 episodes of this Unranked GM series. I try to keep them interesting and educational at the same time so they might help you out. That said, today's episode isn't a Widow gameplay, unfortunately. That's because I played 3 games, and the first one I was lagging like crazy, but it was still an easy win. The second game I was playing stupidly and memeing, but again, we still won. And then this third game was an Ashe game where we got completely rolled first 2 points and then, well, yeah, you'll see. Hope you guys enjoy the vid.
leave it alone. I'm feeling why you got your bros. I'm sunny shit, the brain up on when it's so honest, you dependent. Shit done like Chevy, new age Machiavelli, disagree on Penny. Now you in Infinity, we 98, just that he be good. On the ball like baby, don't make no mistakes, got the faith. 18 just not gonna be the same. Been up and down generations, not gonna be in vain. Now we young, why you gotta go, why you gotta go? I just wanna know, I just wanna know now. Try and get known, hope you free your soul, hope you free your soul. I might have caught the June blues, yeah, I wanna drown myself inside the juice, yeah, you know I keep on running from the truth. Was that not? I'm just a lonely fucking you. Now when I drive around, don't feel it all. Why it's getting colder when the sun comes out? Might just waste away, don't know what life about. Another day go by, don't know what got me now.
Get on the objective. I am taking the objective. Poser. Necessary. I'm on fire. Stay here. Objective A captured. Escort the payload in that direction. I could use some assistance.
The payload is in my charge. Let us move it.
Here it comes.
Where does it hurt? Got this. Damage increase. I get the idea.
Let's get our payload moving. Contact. Bob, do something.
Ich kümmere mich um dich. You should be immediately infected. Right inside of my face. Get up.
Огонь по готовности. Fire at will. Rocket barrage incoming.
Heroes never die.
Winston reporting.
You pick